Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy. Hi, dear ones. Welcome back to the podcast. Dr. Edie here. I have a really good episode for you today. I'm so excited. We're continuing in my series on how to build your dream business. This is part 4, and we are going to talk about shifting from scarcity to abundance, how learning to cultivate an abundance mindset, an abundant way of living has truly served me so well in my business. And it has been the perfect playground to really work on what I really want to create for myself internally that then gets shared everywhere else. And I like to think of living in abundance. Obviously, when you're building a business, I think people are, thinking about money, but I want you to think about it like this, not about how much you have, but about how deeply you live. To me, it feels like waking up each day with the belief, and I teach this to my clients, that everything is happening for you, that this is all rigged in your favor, that God loves you, that He will use everything in your life, in your business, somehow for you, even when it doesn't feel like it. And I feel like it's literally choosing to have a stance of faith, where we don't look at our circumstances. We are creating that and receiving that from God and letting that flow out of us. So this abundance flows when you stop waiting for the circumstances to change, a certain number of clients to come in, a certain income level, and instead you decide to show up as your most generous, abundant, courageous, authentic self. And then from there, what you're able to create is just so much more powerful, because it's so magnetizing when you learn how to live this way. And really learning how to live from, it's not what I can get, it's not what the world's going to give me for doing this business or living my life this way, but what I can cultivate within myself and then pour back out, knowing that that well, which comes from God, never runs dry. And this is something that I feel like I have had to work on really intentionally, because I grew up with a very scarce mindset. So I'm going to just give you some thoughts about sort of the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. And we're going to talk about some practical ways that you can cultivate an abundance mindset in your own life, in your own business. I think, you guys, this is especially so powerful for business, that we learn how to do this. So the scarcity mindset has these kind of common threads. There's never enough. I'm not enough. Other people aren't enough. I don't have what I need. I don't have the support I need. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. There's so many things that I don't have that I need. And when you think about that as it's related to business, it would just be so easy to spiral down that pathway all the time. And I promise you that when you see scarcity mindset in yourself and see how often you're saying this or thinking this about yourself, about your life, maybe about the program you've created or whatever you're offering to other people. A lot of times when people are starting their business, they're like, well, I don't have enough followers. I don't have enough influence. I don't have a network. So wherever you're saying, I don't have enough, I want you to look for that and really figure out, like, okay, what do I want to believe instead? Scarcity is always finding the problems, the obstacles. It's always finding what's lacking in ourselves and in others. And it causes us so much problems, you guys, because life is hard enough. And then when we are consciously, by having this scarcity mindset, having like a magnifying glass on what's wrong, we're always going to find it. And I really do believe that scarcity is, at its core, a lack of faith, a lack of belief that we have what we need, that all will be well. It's sort of just like a lack of faith. And so I kind of ask yourself, especially if you're thinking about starting a business, or especially if you're early on in your business, where is that scarcity mindset for you showing up? And specifically, where is it showing up, as it relates to your business? I promise you, you're not alone. Lots of us have struggled with this. Um, I think a few ways that it shows up is just a fear of actually launching your business. So you have this idea, maybe you got this training, maybe you're one of my coaches and you got certified last year, and you just haven't been able to say, "Hey, I'm a coach. I can help you." You just haven't really been able to launch your business to get the word out there that you can help people. And that is usually coming from a scarcity mindset that either you don't have what it takes or nobody's going to hire you or whatever it is. Another way that I feel like it shows up specifically in business, and it has shown up for me, is fear of investing. Now, luckily, you guys, I went to medical school. So I already had it implanted in my brain that if you want to learn a new skill and you want to up level yourself, you invest in yourself. You go back to school, you take a course, you get a certification. And I just have never really shied away from this. And I will tell you that this one thing that I have done consistently in my business from the start of my business, I've actually had the same business coach for 3.5 years, you guys, 3.5 years. And investing in myself, investing in my business hasn't been an issue for me, but you have to ask yourself, have you been afraid to go get a certification? Have you had a lot of fear around hiring a coach or hiring someone to do your website, or just any way that you have this sort of scarcity around investing? Another way this shows up is underpricing your work or doing too much work for free. Now, we're going to talk about, when we get to the abundance mindset, I'm going to tell you all the things that I do for free. I love being generous with my time, with my ideas. This podcast is a great example, but also I don't hesitate to create, and package together and offer a course, a certification, or whatever, and really offer that. So if you have trouble, if you're just always, doing things for free and underpricing your work, that is likely coming from a scarcity mindset. If you have thoughts of, oh, the market is too saturated, definitely a scarcity mindset thought that will keep you from putting your work out there. If you believe the market's too saturated, you're not going to make very many offers because you're not going to want to be rejected. And I, even throughout, 2024 was a crazy year. And several people that I know, their businesses didn't survive. I know, coaches and people in the last couple of years that are like, okay, this has been rough financially. This is really not for me. Or maybe they go back to another job, or, maybe they just decide like being an entrepreneur wasn't for them. And I will tell you that your mindset around such things is so powerful. Does it mean that there's not actually, changes in the market? No, I really do believe there are changes in the market, but I'm always asking myself, okay, so we're having this in the economy. Okay, so there's changes to how people are buying now. After I state whatever I think the facts are, I ask myself, and now what? Does that change the fact that if I am able to get this work out there, the work that I do in life mentoring school, to women who need it, that their lives will be changed forever, that their marriages could possibly be saved, that their relationships with their kids could be altered forever? It's still so important what I do. And so I'm asking myself, okay, the market has changed. Now what? Now, what do I need to do? How do I need to show up? How do I need to market what I'm doing? And that comes from cultivating an abundance mindset that believes that, of course, there are always still people out there who need what I have to offer. And I am willing to keep working to get the word out there. So let's transition and talk about an abundance mindset. What does that really mean? It means believing there's more than enough. It means believing there's more time, you have enough resources. It means, creating this feeling of being supported. I know so many women are like, no, you don't understand. My spouse doesn't support me, or I don't really have the support I need. No, you've got to find all the ways you are supported. Sometimes I just sit here and go, this is crazy that we live in a time where I own a computer. There's such a thing as Zoom. There's such a thing as PayPal and these places that can take payments. Like, this is literally a miracle. I am so supported everywhere I look to build my business because I have so many resources that, generations of women never had. How is God supporting you? How, like, I want you to, when you have this temptation to go off into a scarcity mindset, I just want you to remember like how supported you are. If you think of yourself as you are the vessel that wants to serve your people, right? And I love to think of it this way, is that God is always supporting me. He's given me, his word. He's given me this family that I have, this home that I have, this office that I have. Like, I'm constantly being filled up so that I can do the work that I have been called to do. Like, that thinking is so much more powerful than I don't have what I need, nobody's supporting me, because you can find evidence for that. Listen, I can find evidence for that if I want to. But no, I want to keep finding all the evidence that I have everything I need. There's more than enough. There's enough time, enough money, all of that. And when I do practice that mindset and believe that, it really shows up in my business. It shows up as this sort of taken care of sufficiency, because when you cultivate an abundance mindset for yourself, you're not going to your clients and marketing from a place of scarcity. You're not going to them with this sort of underlying energy of like, I don't have what I need. I really need you to hire me so that I can feel good about myself, so that I can finally get paid for what I do. And if you're not careful, that scarcity mindset is coming out in your marketing. So this is something that, listen, whether you have a business or not, we need to do this, you guys. We need to learn how to receive from God what he gives us, so that that sense of being supported and sufficient and having what we need really helps us show up to our lives in this beautiful place where we feel expansive and we feel generous and all of that. For me, I feel like in a lot of ways, how having this abundance mindset has shown up for me is that it has allowed me to be so generous with my content. I have always created a lot of free content. Listen, I don't hold back on the podcast. I teach you concepts that are in my program, because I know that the way my program is designed, it's just so wildly different from what I offer in the podcast. So there's so much support in there that I can be so generous with what I teach you, and I can teach you what I know about how to, create a mindset, how to process emotions. And so being generous with your content and just being generous with yourself, just believing that no matter what, there's enough clients in the world. The clients will come. Like, operating from that kind of mindset will have you showing up in such a generous way. And then that generosity always comes back to you. I also think that one way it has shown up is that it really has helped me celebrate and support other people. So when I see other people, putting themselves out there and doing business online, I'm so proud of them. I have a business bestie, and we spend so much time just celebrating each other. Shout out to Tanner. But we just spend a lot of time like really being proud of each other and celebrating each other's wins. And oh my gosh, I saw what you were doing, and that was so amazing. I think this mindset too, it just helps you show up to your life in this way, where you can look at other people, whether it's business or not, and go, I love what you're doing in the world. I'm so proud of you. And that generosity of heart and spirit and celebrating other people's success in whatever way it is such a great side effect, I think, of cultivating this abundance mindset. Because if not, we're always feeling like we've got to take our part. Well, I don't have enough, so I've got to take, instead of I have everything I need nothing. And so I can just give. I'm just free to be generous and give, whether that's compliments or praise or ideas or money or, whatever. So it has really helped me create this sort of generosity of spirit with other people too. And let's see. Yeah. And so and it has really helped me invest in my business, because as I've cultivated a stronger and stronger abundance mindset, I am just not afraid to invest, you guys. I spent, let me see if I could get this right. I want to say $700,000 or $800,000 last year advertising to find new clients. Because, and listen, when I'm advertising, when I'm putting out that kind of money to invest in my business, I don't know if that's coming back or not. Like right then, we had actually a couple of launches last year where it didn't come back right away. But I really do believe in what I do so much that I know the word needs to get out there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to trust that I'm going to invest in my business, invest to get these teachings out there, and invest to get this word across, and it will come back. It'll come back to me in ways that I can't even understand. It will come back to all the women that are drawn to our program. And so I have just loved cultivating that sort of abundance mindset where I'm not afraid to invest. I'm not afraid to hire coaches for myself. I'm not afraid to get support for myself. I'm not afraid to invest in my clients. And that has been so fun. And invest in my team too. So all of those ways, I think it has really showed up. Now, I want to help you shift from scarcity to abundance. So I want to give you some practical takeaways. The first thing that I would do to practice this is to focus on what you already have. I want you to look around and see how abundant your life, your business is. Even if you don't have your first client, I bet you have a computer. I bet you have a Zoom account. I bet you have food to eat. And, if you're living in America and you're trying to build a business from home, you already are so abundant and so blessed. And I think really practicing gratitude for what you already have helps you then find all of the other things that are already there. It's kind of like, when you're in a scarcity mindset and it feels like the more you think about scarcity, the more scarce you get. The same is true with abundance, and you will grow your abundance by really practicing this daily. What do you already have that you're not really being thankful for, that you're not really noticing? The second way is to invest in yourself. Really make an investment in yourself. Get yourself a course, hire yourself an assistant for a few hours a week if you need that. Invest in a coach. I am just doing this all the time. And I did this, you guys, before I had a lot of profit to do it. I just believed in it. I knew, listen, I got out of medical school with, I don't even want to tell you how much debt. So I was used to like, oh, this is what it looks like to, to grow yourself, to give yourself the skills that you need. So, really doing that, maybe even before you feel quite ready to do it, is a great way to create this abundance. The third way is to just practice celebrating other people, celebrate their success, celebrate their wins, celebrate that they got their first client, celebrate things with them that aren't related to their business at all. You get in the habit of celebrating about, other people, and you will start to believe like, oh, I bet that is possible for me too. If that's possible for her, I bet it's possible for me. And as I have done that over and over, celebrated my own success, because the other thing, you guys, is that we will, try to build a business. We'll get our first few clients. Maybe we'll get our first 10 clients. But if you don't really work on this scarcity mindset, it'll never be enough. And when you cultivate a true abundance mindset, it's always enough. Like you don't have to wait for the day when it's enough, if you know what I mean. And this is so powerful because I promise you, I, have gone through seasons of my business. When I first started my Young Living business, I went from six figures to multiple six figures to high six figures to $1 million to multiple millions of dollars. I will tell you something. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And I promise you that if you don't cultivate that enoughness, if you don't cultivate that abundance, no amount of money can fix that. And if you're in any of my programs, you know why. Because your feelings don't come from outside you. They don't come from amount, like a number on your bank account. They come from your thoughts. And so if you are not thinking abundant thoughts, if you are not practicing how you already have so much abundance, how you already have more than you could ever ask for, then you're not going to feel that way when you make 100K or when you have 20 clients or when you have a full program or when you make $1 million. It doesn't matter. So you have to ask yourself, oh, so interesting. What are the thoughts that I have been thinking that have me in this scarcity mindset? And what do I want to think instead that helps me appreciate the abundance that I already have? Not that I will create, but that I already have. And this is really, really powerful. Maybe one of the most important things that I have done to shift this in my own heart and mind. This is really powerful. The next thing is to just start being generous. Generous in the way you see others, generous in the way you cheer for them, generous in the way you share your ideas, generous in the way you give, generous in the way you connect, generous in the way you spend your money. They say that those of us who like attend church, and maybe you've heard, the biblical kind of rule of tithing. And a lot of people say, well, when I get to this level of income, then I will give. But studies show that you don't, that if you're not giving some portion of what you make right now, you won't do that when you make more. So start being generous now. How can I live with a heart of generosity, even though I don't have as much physically to give, but I have this heart of generosity and I'm going to start living that way. The next one is to really learn how to reframe any obstacles or failures as like, oh, this is the next step in my growth. So I read a book years ago called The Obstacle is the Way. And that book is really powerful because it really is, the obstacle is the way. And if you look at the failure that you've had and you make that mean, well, of course I was never going to succeed, I'm never going to be able to do this, then you probably will prove yourself right. If you look at that failure and those obstacles instead and go, oh, this is the way to go. I just show up after this failure and ask myself, okay, what did I learn? How can I move forward? What do I want to do next? Or what I'm famous for asking myself, okay, we had this failure, now what? And that little question often fires me up for what I want to do next. So the last thing that I want to leave you with is that you don't have to wait for this. You don't have to wait until you build your business, until you earn a certain amount of money or have a certain amount of clients or anything else, even not related to business. You get to have an abundance mindset right now, today. You can shift this for yourself today. And what a powerful thing to do. Abundance really just is a stance of faith that we trust that we have everything we need. What if you had everything you need? I promise you, you already do. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I can't wait to see you next time on House of Joy. Bye for now.